The hibernation is over. Kiwi Mana 110.
Welcome to the Kiwi Mana Bay. This week, we are back. We missed you. In this episode, we are talking about common beekeeping mistakes. And can you really eat crystallized honey? This is a new idea on a very common question. We've covered some of this before, but this has got some new ideas. So, this is episode 110. Yay! Of our beekeeping podcast.
And hi, I'm Gary, and that's Margaret.
Hi, guys.
And we are beekeepers from the hills of the Waitaki Ranges in West Auckland, New Zealand.
The wild west coast of the North Island of New Zealand.
And our podcast is about beekeeping, gardening, and political issues, sometimes about environmental things
that affect our bees.
And I'm full of cold.
And yes, he is.
But I'm feeling better. I'm getting there.
Indeed. So we've also been known to go off in tangents about other issues. But, trying to keep it calm as we come out of hibernation, as we are in winter, July 2017.
Absolutely, and we'd like to thank our great supporter Matthew Taylor this month, and he's been supporting the Kiwi Mana Buzz since December 2016, so thanks Matthew.
Yeah, cheers to you guys in Maryland, and we hope all is well for you.
Absolutely, and if you like what we do, please consider supporting us, because that support helps today, especially over winter.
Oh gosh, yes.
It's
kiwi.bz/banana. Oops.
And the show notes for this podcast are kiwi.bz/110.
Yay!
And big shout out to our listeners in Michigan and the United States this month. And Margaret, did you know that in 1879, Detroit telephone customers were the first in the whole nation to be assigned phone numbers to facilitate handling calls?
Wow, so that obviously meant no more operators.
Yeah, that must have made it easier, eh?
Yeah, no more smooth operators.
Exactly. Thanks for listening to our show. We know life is busy, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. So what's happening at Kiwi Mana?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, well, what's happening for Kiwi Mana? Oh, at Kiwi Mana for you, Gary?
We have updated the top beekeeping podcast page, and this is a list of all the beekeeping podcasts around the world, and we maintain that for you guys. And we've got 2 new podcasts this month. There's one from the Oregon State University called Pollination.
Oh, that sounds
a catchy
good
name,
title, yeah.
And the other one is called The Honest Bee from Canada. So that's awesome. And if you want to look at the full list, it's kiwi.bz/top pods.
Excellent. And we all know that you guys know what a podcast is, but tell your friends about it too.
Absolutely. And we've got some exciting news coming out.
Exciting, yay!
We've got a new podcast app coming out soon for Android and Apple devices. Coming very soon. It's so you can listen to our podcast with its own application, which is going to make it so much easier for new people that don't understand what a podcast is to download and listen to the show.
Yeah, because we did some research, and you found that people can download an app and get that sorted on their phones, and that was a simple way to do it. And we've also been doing a bit of artwork for that, Gary?
Absolutely. We've redone the artwork, and we'd just like to thank Aaron and Jim from Wellington for helping us to create that app.
Yes, that's
Jim and Jill
Hepburn and Aaron Evans. So thank you guys.
Yes,
thanks to that.
Your donations has helped us produce that app. It's awesome. It's coming out
wonderful.
very, very soon.
Yeah, cheers.
And also, a new show's coming out.
This is the where we have the bonus buzz.
Bonus Buzz. It's going to be called the Bonus Buzz Extra Show, and it's going to be for patrons.
Excellent.
So if you want to listen to that, you need to become a patron. And what else is happening? Despicable Me 3.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was...
we just got to say...
It's a bit controversial.
It was quite a good movie, but no...
Banana! Yeah, not
mentioned
enough.
at all. Not enough bananas at all.
Not enough bananas at all, man.
And the minions were quite low on it, eh?
They actually went to prison. So
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
They were in prison. No spoilers, but they were in prison and they were getting tattoos of bananas. But that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think of it? It was
all right, but I think I liked the one before it the most.
Oh, the Minion movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was better.
Okay.
And
what
also
else?
thanks to Tom Morris for giving us a donation over the holiday break. That was awesome, Tom.
Oh, fantastic.
We went and bought some firewood with that money, so that was awesome. We kept warm.
Greatly appreciated, so we can keep active in the hibernation, I guess.
Yes. And what's happening with the update on Who Wanted a Laugh?
Well, we only had one person who was brave enough to take a chance and find out what that was all about. And the laugh was accepted, and the colour was blue, and that will be getting sent out shortly. And that was for Lisa Allen. So congratulations, Lisa. And thanks for participating. Always makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone else was scared to have a laugh, obviously.
Too scared to find out about it. Well, you snooze, you lose, and all that stuff.
And what's happening at the apiaries?
Okay, well, not a lot. It's pretty quiet out there. We've had so much rain. It's just been unbelievable. In New Zealand, we've had really major slips on some of our gorges and in the valleys, and it's really made some bad issues for travellers. So we've had flooding down in the South Island, which has been very severe, and we've had snow right up to the middle of and towards the top, a little bit towards the top of the North Island, and heavy rain and snowfalls all around basically the whole country. So it's been a really, really tough winter. And our thoughts go out to all those people in the South Island who have suffered from, the earthquakes, and now they're dealing with all these floods. So we've had a few earthquakes, but nothing major. But these floods have been quite, stressful. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's been shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, so our thoughts go out to you guys, and we are thinking of you and sending out our positive thoughts. And I've also been busy building stock and getting new accessories for all the stock we're building. And I guess the worst thing about that is seeing how the prices are going up all the time. Very, very painful, I think, more than anything. But, yeah, you just have to work with it, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying, isn't it? The prices, the vendors the suppliers are putting all the prices up of everything.
And usually really quickly, so you don't even get a chance to get in before that. So we find out too late. And unfortunately, it will mean that it affects us. So anyway, we're just carrying on and keeping calm, and so glad to be back, guys, and awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow, and so we're up to now the top 3 blog posts that you guys were clicking on and listening to. And what were they, Gary?
Number 1 was It's Winter Time. This was our last show, season-ending show, so thanks to everyone that downloaded it. We had a lot of downloads, It was awesome.
Yeah, how many was that one? Can you remember?
About 2,000 something.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, and thanks for everyone that downloaded it.
Yeah,
and the next one was a podcast we did an interview with Howard Blakestone, the author of Beekeeping for Dummies. That was number 2.
Yeah, that was a cool one. I think a lot of people loved that one.
Absolutely. And the last one was one by you, Essential Beehive Components.
That's my blog post, eh?
Yes, part 2, and I understand part 3 is coming out.
Coming out on our next newsletter. So, yeah, guys, you'll have the final part to that 3-part basic series. So, hope you're finding it good. I am getting people ringing and just checking some things with me. So, and people buying the stock that's listed on there. So I felt quite chuffed about that because they're not wasting their money because they're just getting what they need. So, awesome. And thanks, guys, for your feedback on that one. So I feel very happy that you guys loved it. And, the 3rd one will be coming out shortly.
Cool. beekeeping news. News you can use.
Never abuse.
No.
This first one is an extension of one that was put out from the 10 most common mistakes. So
kind of a sequel.
A sequel, oh yeah.
And
without the fanfare?
Yes, and this is from our girl next door, honey, Hillary Kearney from San Diego.
Another great post from her. And she says, how many of these mistakes are you making? Here is a sequel to the 10 most common mistakes post. So there's 5 more here. And she hopes that it helps you to avoid some of those issues.
Okay, the first one. Are we making these mistakes? Poor record keeping.
Margaret's guilty.
But you're starting to use Hive Tracks, haven't you been?
Yeah, Hive Tracks, I am, still using that. I mean, because it's been winter, it's sort of like going out treating, coming home. Oh, but what I did do is put a new roof on the hive, and we had 3 storms, and the roof stayed on. It's a new A-frame roof. Anyway,
cool.
I'm sorry.
You've digressed.
Okay, what's number 2, Gary?
So if you want to check out Hive Tracks, it's kiwi.bz/Hive Tracks.
And what is Hive Tracks again? Just a refresher?
It's a web-based application to keep your record keeping, well, your beehive records of inspections.
You can put it on your phone, then coordinate everything back at the house. You can print off your results and, keep records on paper, hard copy, or just keep it all online. So, that's a beauty, guys. Well worth it.
Absolutely. And number 2, inspecting too often.
This is one of the key things that can make a hive fail. You need to make sure, I'm starting to go off on a tangent. Okay, inspecting too much. Well, the reasons why you wouldn't want to do it is because a hive likes to be dark and they want to feel safe. So that's number 2.
Because it does take the hive a little while to recover, doesn't it, from an inspection?
Yeah, it's a temperature thing too, and she goes into a bit of more detail on the article.
Yes, absolutely. So we encourage you to check out the article. And number 3 is unpreparedness.
Yes, this is a long word for saying not being prepared.
You've got to know. I guess you've got to know what you're trying to achieve with that inspection, and have all the stuff. So if you need to make sure your smoker's with you, make sure you've got all the tools you need. If you want to add another box, have those handy.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we talk about in that part 3 of the basics of essential beekeeping stuff. We talk about that in there too. So it's great that she's mentioned it, because it is one of the things that people just aren't, prepared enough for what they're doing.
Yes, absolutely. And rough handling, absolutely.
What would be an example of rough handling?
Well, like shoving the box on top of a whole lot of... when the bees are on the outside of the box and they just throw it on top, crush a whole lot of little bees. I've seen that before.
And putting your hive box on the ground too, because that creates no bee space, and plus your queen might be down there somewhere and bam, squish.
Absolutely. And she says don't bang things around because you might smash the bees with their carelessness, and that's absolutely true. So you've got to be very, very careful.
And moving frames out too, that's the thing, not moving them methodically, and having a frame holder, I reckon, helps with that.
Yes, and don't roll hive boxes down hills. That's never good.
That was the good old days. Okay, so rough handling's number 4.
Number 5 is spending too much money. This ties into your blog post, because it's sort of, you only buy what you really need at that time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the things that are going to happen, you have to have an understanding of where your hives are at too. So if you're looking at new season colonies and stuff, you need to understand whether you need that gear straight away. So this is a great extension from the previous one that Hillary did, and she's the girl next door, so she knows. She knows.
Absolutely. And there's a link there to the article, so I encourage you to have a look. And we've got some feedback from Gary.
Oh, that's Gary from Kiwimana. What does Gary from Kiwimana say?
Oh, it's a bit of a laugh, because Hillary was wearing sunglasses on the picture, and I was going, don't wear sunglasses, I've been looking for eggs. But she never reacted to it, so it didn't work. So
that's all good, and I agree.
Yeah. It's hard to beekeep in sunglasses.
Yeah, but when you're cool, the sun shines 24 hours a day.
It's true. And Hillary's obviously cool, so that's cool.
All right, speaking
Moving
of cool,
on.
Crystallised Honey.
Is it okay to eat?
This is a great post by our patron Justin Bumstead, and he talks about crystallised honey and can you still eat it? We've had people ask this question before, but here's some new ideas, guys.
Yes, your honey is crystallising. It's becoming grainy and starting to solidify. Time to throw it out, right? Wrong. And Justin's got some tips here to prevent your honey crystallising. And the first one is...
Store your honey at a constant temperature in the range of 21 degrees Celsius
to 26,
or centigrade.
Yeah, centigrade. To 26 or 70 Fahrenheit to 80 Fahrenheit. It's all about constant, eh?
Yeah. And then he goes on to say, when your honey crystallizes, it can be brought back to its liquid state by placing the jar in or over warm water just until the honey liquefies. Don't use hot water or the microwave. The honey will get too hot. And there's some other comments he makes further on in the article that what happens when you use heat on honey.
Yeah.
So the best thing, he says, the third one is eat it before it crystallizes.
Yes, that would be my recommendation too. But I think the thing about what I used to do is get a bowl of water, like sort of warm hot water, and just put the jar in, but don't have it to the top, and that would liquefy it again as well.
Yeah, I think just be careful you don't get any water into the actual honey jar.
No,
because that will make it. Yeah, that will make it become mead.
Yes, but to be honest, I find crystallised honey easy to spread on toast anyway, so I don't see the problem. I think the biggest problem is customers. They think it's gone off. Yeah,
they've got some sort of perception, that it's not right. But it still has good qualities as long as... he also talks in the article about what commercial guys do. And there's some, considerations with the process they use. So have a read of that. It is very helpful. Yeah, enjoy that one.
Absolutely. I mean, even maybe consider printing it out and giving it to your customers at farmers markets when you sell them honey or something similar, eh?
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe there should be some instructions on the jars themselves, and that always helps. Because I've had a lot of people say to me, I just put it in the fridge.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so, it's not that kind of situation. You can't really put it in the fridge because you're defeating the purpose of honey.
No.
But anyway, there is some feedback from this.
Yes, we got feedback from Graham Manning. He said, do people really ask this question? I suppose they must. Yeah, they do, Graham.
Yeah, especially if they pay for the stuff.
Especially if they're not beekeepers.
Indeed. Only bee and honey lovers.
And Helen Edwards, a friend of ours from England, sweetened Breaking Bad.
True. Classic.
And this one, this comment is from the new Bees Knees Club. This is from Margaret. That's you, isn't it?
Oh, that's me, yeah.
What did you say?
I say any honey is yummy honey. And one of the things I've learned is never leave your honey jars on a concrete floor or a very cold surface, because what it happens is it crystallizes because it's just such a quick change in temperature.
Yeah.
So I usually put it on a wood surface in a place that holds its temperature.
Like a fridge, but put it at a high temperature might work.
Then that's no longer a fridge, Gary.
Yeah, I know,
I'm sorry to say that's no longer a fridge.
It's all about constant temperature. If you can get a fridge that could stay between 21 and 26, you could use it for that.
Yeah, but then I don't think it would be called a fridge.
No, it'd be called an oven. Probably not. Anyway, let's move on to a story about a mongrel. But anyway, Beehive thief.
Yeah, thieving mongrel got caught.
He was shown mercy and gets community work. This was the story we talked about in episode 107. A man was arrested for stealing beehives and has been sentenced in the Whangarei District Court. And here's the quote from the article. A man who admitted stealing beehives and receiving stolen beehives has been spared jail after a judge showed mercy to his family. He must complete 300 hours of community work and pay back $6,600 in reparations. Oh, that's good.
Well, yeah, I hope that he's learned his lesson, and if he really cares about his family, he shouldn't go on a life of crime. So hopefully this is a one-off event, and the mercy he's been given gets him to go on the right path, eh?
Absolutely. We had some feedback. We had a lot of feedback, didn't we?
Yeah, so the first one is from Char Bailey. It's better that non-violent crimes be paid back within the community of damage. If in jail, the taxpayer is lumped with the bill and no one can recuperate any costs. If we send everyone to jail, we just end up with more career criminals. Good
I
point.
agree.
Yeah, good point.
I agree, Char. And
Okay.
Jason Sanford, what does he say?
He says, what a joke. They should have made an example of him and sent a message to hive thieves. It's not just the value of the hives lost, it's also loss of income from the honey the hives could have made.
True.
Absolutely, Jason. Yeah, that's a really good point.
David Herbert, what does he say?
He says, Judge Anna Johns, you are a joke. This thief is now planning his next robbery. Good for you, Anna.
Well, we hope not. We hope this person's learned his lesson.
Scathing comments, but, you know, we need to understand the context of that. But, yeah, we hope that this kind of thing doesn't carry on.
And Joyce Kennedy, always with the truth. Repeat offender. Pathetic.
Yeah, we're with you, Joyce.
And Craig Lovell says...
I'm sure there's an empty cage in North Korea for him.
Oh, that's nasty.
That's a tough one. But, yeah, I mean, as Joyce was saying, if a repeat offender, then what the heck?
Well, let's hope he's learned his lesson. He's also on a thing which they call, what do they call it? When if they re-offend, if they re-offend in the first 2 years, it'll go back to court. I think something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
probation
good.
Or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Enough about thievings. We've got something positive now. Have these kids found a way to kill varroa mites? There's an article from Ron Mishka in Canada. An interesting idea from some students in Spain. A new entrance to the beehive that brushes off pesky varroa mites. But what else does it brush off? Question mark.
Ah, is that your question, Gary?
That's my question.
Ah.
What's the quote from this one?
Okay. I heard about a system developed by some youngsters in Spain. I was not quick to don my credulity cloak. I'm not sold on their invention, but I won't disparage it outright. Okay.
That's Ron. Yeah, it's a new device that it's like little brushes that when they walk into the entrance, the mites get brushed off. I'm just thinking that it might brush off pollen as well, but I don't know.
I think there are a lot of, long-term ways to look at this, and it sounds like a good idea. So, yeah, I guess they'll keep testing it, will they?
Yeah, and if it works successfully, there'll probably be a commercial version, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and read this article, and it will show you how they've actually made the system. So let's have a look at what the feedback we got.
We got feedback from
Paolo Jamard Silva. No, probably will make bees more aggressive and they will destroy the device or just glue it down with propolis. Have you guys found the ultrasonic device that's supposed to kill Varroa, but the guys that sell it can't even test it properly or show any improvement over natural Varroa fall through SBB?
Screen bottom board.
Ah.
Looks and smells like another scam, so don't blame me if you buy it and it doesn't work. This is Palio's referring to the ultrasonic device, and that was a campaign on Indiegogo, and that campaign has failed funding.
Oh, thanks for the update on that because, that's interesting. Interesting stuff. And
so that's a bit of a tangent there, Palio. Tracy Robinson, what does she say?
She says even if it reduces the mites, it's good. The fact wasps can't get in is a huge bonus.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
I don't understand that.
Because I think the entrance is so small, it's like 8 mil, that the wasps can't get into it.
So this is Karen Monk. She says, I'd love to get hold of their 3D printer files to try it out.
Yeah, get in touch with them, Karen. I'm not sure if they'd be allowed to give that to you, but
no.
Yeah. And Paul
Shelton says...
Sounds promising.
So, yeah, I remember that it might make people too relaxed and not monitor or be proactive in their treatments.
Yes, maybe.
Do you like that? Do you
I
like
do.
that?
It's
Yeah.
comedy gold.
Yeah. The other thing is from an older beekeeper, she told me that you can put really rough sandpaper
Oh, yes,
on
I remember that.
on the entrance, and that's before they go into the hive, actually on the landing board, and then that would take the mites off underneath.
Yeah, I guess anything can help, eh? So it's time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sort of learning over time that I'm becoming set in my ways and what I use to treat, because if it's successful, I'm not going to start changing it.
Absolutely. And thinking of changing things, we've got here best homemade protein patty recipe for honeybees. And you've written here the shortest article ever.
It basically tells you this idea is from Barbara from the Bee Journal blog about the best protein patty that the Ontario Bee Association came up with after an extensive study. Do you use protein patties?
We never have we?
No.
I guess they use them in the spring build-up. I don't know. I've never used them.
A lot of people that I've talked to use it over the winter period as well, when they're not getting any pollen in. But for us, we generally have a lot of pollen coming in. But read this article, guys. They say that the team had done extensive studies to find out what is the best protein supplement to feed bees. They used all of the well-known brands available on the market and also visited the USA to find out what the commercial guys were using as a supplement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, give it a whirl. It's got some interesting stuff in it, eh? So there's a link there to the article and a link directly to the recipe. And
I have a question, though. Yeah, they talk about in the recipe using vegetable oil, but I have a few concerns about, because some of the oils that are available they may be in Canada as well, that a lot of them are from GMO crops and crops that have been treated with chemicals. So maybe use a softer one like an olive oil or something that hasn't had that same process. I don't know.
Absolutely. Be sure of your sources.
Yeah, that's my question for you guys, because a lot of those vegetable oils are made from those kind of products that have had those treatments on there. So
be careful what you put in it, I guess.
That's it. That's my question.
And we had a lot of feedback. Got one from Alan Johnson. Thanks, Alan, for the feedback. This brings me to a point I made with an old friend who introduced me to beekeeping. It goes to some degree as to why people lose hives: greed. It took me no time to realise, seeing my friend's hive and how much honey they harvest. It's true, if you take too much honey, the bees will starve. That's why you shouldn't need to feed them, really. It struck me how much honey he left the bees and how he structured the hive. 2 full frames in the queen excluder, then his supers. 65 hives yielded 9 drums in a bad season. Maybe it's the beekeepers getting stung.
Does he mean 2 full boxes? Then the queen excluder, then his supers.
Yeah, maybe 2 full frames. I don't know. It's hard to say.
My feeling
is
just
2 frames, can it?
I'd say it would be 2 full boxes. Then the queen excluded, then his supers. 65 hives yielded 9 drums in a bad season. Maybe it's the bad beekeepers
getting stung.
It's the bad keepers getting stung.
Yeah, because this is to supplement protein, this patty, so I don't know, we don't seem to have a problem with pollen starvation here, do we?
Yeah.
But that's just New Zealand, so.
Yeah, and sometimes I understand that there are some of the processes that are done over in America. I worry really about the bees, because some of those processes or their procedures or whatever you want to call them are actually quite hard on the bees in my view, and even commercial guys out here, the way that they take so much off and then they give them false energy through white sugar. And to be honest, the white sugar situation is not the best way to deal with that. Their best food is their own honey, and I'll always say it, And why would you take off all their pollen as well? That's suicide.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you're doing pollen trapping, you've got to be really careful that you do leave enough for them, because that pollen is for the babies, isn't it? For the bees.
Yeah, that's the real whole food that they need for growing their colonies strong. And, delicate balance on that lot, guys. And I think for the first, couple of seasons, really be very aware of what you're removing. And it's all very nice to tell your friends you've got honey, but then next thing you're telling them you've got no bees.
Absolutely. And we've got some great feedback from the Bees Knees Facebook group. This is a new group we've set up for feedback, and people can ask their own questions. And from Lyle Keynes, he says, yes, I've been looking for this thing. Thank you, Gary. Oh, and Margaret.
Yeah, well, it's a recipe. Give it a go, guys, and just watch that oil side of things.
And what does Sandra Greenwood say?
She said, what is egg powder?
Oh, I did some research. And egg powder is just powdered eggs. You can get it from... you can actually buy it at Countdown in New Zealand, which is a supermarket. But if you search for dried whole egg powder in New Zealand, but in overseas, you search for powdered eggs, or it's like eggs that have been dehydrated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like dried, and then you have to mix it up with other stuff to make it an egg again.
Yeah, I can't see why anyone would buy it other than making this. I know they use it at our work because it's cheap.
Okay, so that's interesting, and that caused a bit of conversation, didn't it, Gary, that one?
Absolutely. And the next one about the life cycle of a baby bee.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is a great article to see if you know anything about honeybees.
Yeah, it's a good art. It's got some great photos, but some of the days are not right.
Days?
The life cycle of a bee, the days they've got there are not wrong.
Yes.
They're not right. Sorry.
This article irritated the heck out of me.
I know it did.
And
I heard you yelling about it.
Yes, I was thinking, now, come on, if you're going to write an article like this, look, just double check it before you release it. Anyway, there's only probably one fact I completely accept. And
What's
here
that?
it is. The size of the cell prepared determines the type of the egg that the queen lays. If the worker bees have prepared a worker-sized cell, she will lay a fertilized egg. This egg will produce a female worker bee. If the worker bees have prepared a slightly larger cell, the queen will recognize this as a drone cell and lay an unfertilized egg. This will produce a male drone bee. So it is the workers and not the queen that determines the ratio of workers to drones within the hive.
Absolutely. That's so true.
And what else did they go on to say, Gary?
As beekeepers, the ability to monitor a hive comes in short bursts of activity, usually in the form of regular inspections. For the most part, unless you have an observation hive, this time spent deep in the nitty-gritty of the bee's life is only for a few short moments. As we remove the frames, glance over the thousands of busy bees, check for brood, check for capped honey, maybe spot the queen. Then the frames go back in their slots and the hive is sealed up again.
Yes, well, I start feeling irritated again.
Yeah, some of the days here are wrong, because what is the correct gestation period of a queen bee?
16 days.
16, and a worker bee is
21 days.
21, and a drone is
23.
23.
Yeah.
And she's got them round the wrong way. So just be aware of that.
And the other thing is that, in my view, if you're going to inspect the hive, it's not just to have a look at everything, it's actually to assess what is going on. You know, it's all very well pulling things out and having a nosy at them, but you're actually trying to determine something. So you're determining if they've got enough healthy eggs, if they've got enough food, if there's any varroa in the cells. So I think that my main point in this is that have a reason for going into the hive.
Well, that goes back to Hillary's article about you got to have a reason or a goal for that inspection, don't you?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I tell my students all the time, have a purpose for going into your hive, you know, and understand what you are trying to achieve through that inspection. And yes, you know, there's always that thing in summer where you just want to go in and just be with your bees.
Absolutely. Okay, now we're moving along. Questions from you. Let's open the mailbox and see what we've got in there, eh?
Oh, it needs an oiling.
Needs oil. Nothing in there, but no questions.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, I had a few people call me.
Yeah, but they haven't emailed us.
No, that's true. And this is the mailbox, squeaky as it is.
If you've got a question, email it to question@kiwimana.co.nz and we will attempt to answer it. If we don't know the answer, we'll research it for you. Or you can leave a message on our SpeakPipe, which is on all our pages on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's on our website, guys. So you can go on there and just ask your question, and we will cover it in our podcast.
Absolutely. If you've got an urgent question, probably a good idea to check out our Bees Knees Facebook group, and that's at beesknees.club on the internet.
Yeah.
And you can ask questions there because there's about 1,000 beekeepers there that are waiting to answer quick questions.
Yeah, and this is a great new group that is really coming to its own, and we're probably going to organise some sort of catch-up with them all, eh?
Yes, we might organise some real meetings in the real world. So look out for that if you're in the area. Random review. This is where we read out a random review.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you can do if you buy a product, and absolutely what we've found is that it gives us a good amount of feedback, and, we can work with what you're saying and make changes or improve things. So we always appreciate these reviews. And what's the one we've got today?
Okay. And we also give a voucher out of $30 for a person that's reviews.
The winning number is
06.
Okay, and that was for number 6, which was for a Kiwi Mana Exilic Acid Vaporizer, and it was Bruce Fogger.
Yay!
And what did Bruce say? He said, innovative, user and environmentally friendly. Great support as always from Margaret and Gary. Picked it up from them and had the opportunity to look at their long hive. Could easily become a convert.
Oh.
Yeah, they are quite good, Bruce. You'll have to come back in summer and have a look at it working.
Yeah, so it was very quiet when they came and lots of mud.
Yes, it's very swampy.
Oh, well, congratulations, Bruce, and get in touch with us as soon as you can. And then, on your next visit, there'll be some manana waiting for you.
And you've got to get in touch within the next 2 weeks of the release date.
Okay.
Okay, feedback from you guys.
Yeah, this is where we get some sporadic or sudden contact from you, and it just lets us know that things are ticking along out there, even though you've all been pretty quiet. Who's this feedback from, Gary?
Oh, it's from a guy with the most amazing name you'll ever know.
Okay.
His name is Gary, and he is from Tasmania, and that is the little island at the south of Australia.
Awesome.
We must go there one day. Here it is. We're here from Gary.
Hello, Gary and Margaret. It's another Gary here from Tasmania, a hobby beekeeper. I really like your podcast. I've been listening to the few latest ones the last couple of days. I've been doing nothing, sitting around with the flu. I checked out that YouTube video that you embedded about, was it Howland's talk to the American Men's Association?
Well, thanks, Gary, for that feedback, and I can really sympathise with having the flu. It's bloody awful.
Gary's got the man flu. This is your second bout, isn't it?
Yes,
it's about your second bout, yeah. So, getting lots of honey and lemon and, hey.
Yep,
yeah.
Been looked after by Margaret. It's been awesome.
Doing my best, guys. You know how it is.
Well, the man flu, as any guy knows, is pretty much fatal.
It's on death's door, I must admit.
Yeah, so you've got to really be careful with it, guys, and just take it easy and don't exert yourself at all. Hey.
Indeed.
Okay.
What's next, Gary?
Well, we'll just talk about the bonus show. The bonus show is coming. Dun, 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 dun. And we talk about...
This is the bonus buzz.
The bonus buzz extra. And it's going to be released soon. And if you're a patron, you will get to hear it. And this week we're talking about, are you one of the 80% who give up beekeeping?
And that one should be, are you a quitter?
Are you a quitter? And an Auckland park is sprayed with toxic chemicals, even though they're on a no-spray list.
Yes, there's more to the story, I guess, guys.
We did a bit of research on that, and there's a bit of a twist to that story. A bit of a Yeah, plot twist.
And to know that you have to be part of the bonus show.
Yes, so that will be released to our patrons very soon. And also coming up, we talk to the greatest beekeeper in Sheffield. The greatest beekeeper in Sheffield, England. We talk to Chris Brown.
And he's in Britmana, isn't he?
He is. He was actually born in Kiwi Nirvana land, but now lives in Sheffield, England, officially Europe's greenest city, with his lovely wife Laura and son Jasper. Chris has been beekeeping for 3 years at Britmana HQ, which is a subset of the Kiwimana HQ.
That's absolutely true.
It's the British version. Let's hear a clip from Chris.
I said, does that mean I can call it Sheffield's best tasting honey? And he said, yes, for a year.
He should be happy for you.
Yeah, he should be. But he did win plenty of other awards, in fairness.
Yeah, so you let's listen to that show that's coming out.
I love listening to Chris's voice. It's just so nice and calming.
What about my voice?
You're just Kiwi.
Okay.
It must be that English accent.
Yes, indeed. So that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. So I hope you download that one. And if you subscribe to the podcast, you will get that automatically to your phone or your iPad or whatever. So please subscribe to us, and there's some instructions there. And soon we'll have the app coming out, so that's going to make it even easier, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, thanks, guys. We know that time is precious, and we appreciate that you've actually taken some of that time, your time, to be with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you in a couple of weeks with Chris Brown.
Yay. See ya.